everybody that has performed so far, but like my second round of readings usually does for Poetic license, I must show off a sign. You know, like I was still at Recycled Reads. I don't know why. But anyway, I don't know why. But I got books around me, if that's any consolation. And an abacus. I could see that in an abacus and a Rubik's Cube. What else is back there? I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to share with you a couple of poems from the other book. I have run 2 literary magazines at Scars Publications. The other one is Down to the Dirt magazine and Book Idolatry. And all these books, and it's just all these groovy little pages, and it's just a bunch of open books. Yay, because we're all about the books. When I publish books, you get a lot of books, and books. And so I thought I would pull, as I said, any book titles are based on an accepted piece of writing in it. And so there is a piece in this issue that is called Book Idolatry. And so I thought I would read 3 from the end of this book for you guys. And the first one I was going to do, and I'll find them on a screen as well. They were from past old performance art shows, and I have the pictures in here, but you can't see them because they're really hard to see and they're really tiny. So I put them here in color as well, but then I try to show it to you in a Zoom meeting as well, and I try. But these are from 3 different shows, 3 poems. This first one is titled, Weren't Even Married. You jumped from an airplane once, and you promised that you'd force me to go with you the next time. You were always jumping out of airplanes, weren't you? The ring I'm wearing, it's on my right hand, not my left, and it's on my middle finger, not my ring finger, and it seems appropriate. You didn't even buy me that ring, and we weren't even married. I bought that ring at a street fair on Belmont Avenue in Chicago on the day of our first date, when we watched Pulp Fiction at your apartment, and I asked you to sit closer to me, and you kissed me. The ring isn't even a complete circle. There are 2 stones that don't quite meet, and there's a void in the middle, and isn't that appropriate? Because you didn't even buy me that ring, and we weren't even married. I've missed you, you know. I can't even pass the apartment building you lived in anymore. I remember when you told me that someone was shot in that building once and that maybe it was haunted. But they were shot for money. They were robbed. And this time, you just slipped away in your sleep. And this time, I was robbed. When one of the stones fell out of my ring, I was sad. But I think you were more sad. You wanted to replace the shiny purple stone, but I said no. And now I still wear the ring, and a stone is still missing, and isn't it appropriate? And we weren't even married. I've missed you, you know. And with your absence, the bad memories vanish. Where you were someone once, and where you were someone once, where you were alive once. I forget there's so much about you that I hated because you're not here to remind me. So with this ring, I remember. Because now nothing is complete anymore, and everything is missing now. And isn't it appropriate? There's no next time for us. You jumped from an airplane once, and you promised that you'd force me to go with you the next time. That one, that one was done in 2 different shows. This first one was The Cycle of Life, and back in the day I would do all sorts of, I'd have videos going up, and I knew I couldn't pull it off, so I had 2 little tiny like Mac computer screens that showed rotating art going by, and that was what was going on at this one. I did this, the Cycle of Life show, and I also did that one, and that was in Chicago, and in Gages Lake, which was north from it, I did a show called Uncorrect, where I just stood there with a mic, and I thought of wearing a polka dot shirt today, but I wasn't thinking it was the same one. But anyway, that was performed in 2 different shows, and there are shots from that in there for you. The next one is in this book, and it's titled, I'm a Record Now. And I've got to open my page to it, the last poem in the book. I'm a record now. I feel like I'm a record now. You know how vinyl goes. There's that ridge trailed in circles, that groove that the needle can easily slip into. Well, I feel like I'm that record now. And the needle of life is in me, and it's playing my story, and I'm stuck on this record player at this certain speed, and I can't get the needle out of the groove, and my life is being played out for me, for everyone to hear and see and live. And they don't feel a goddamn thing, but they claim to know how I feel. And the RPM has been set on that player, and now my life is an open book. And now my life is a playing record. And people can choose to read the book. And people can choose to listen to the music. And sometimes that excites me. And sometimes that fascinates me. And sometimes that scares me. Because I wonder if people who listen know too little or too much. I'm a record now. And I thought it was funny because I happen to have a shot of one of those little things inside your 45s to make them fit onto the needle for it. That was one of the frames that happened to be in the show when I was doing this in the show, which I thought was humorous, at least if I was going to have that one. And the last one I wanted to share with you is in this book, but the thing that's a riot from it is, this is a piece called From in the Air. It is a small poem, and I have an image from an old show where it was performed. However, it was also done later in the book Shattering the Glass Ceiling, and I read it at Beach Poets in 2022. Shattering the Glass Ceiling, rock on. But I don't have anything from that book in here, but this poem happens to be both in Book of Adultery from Down in the Dirt and Shattering the Glass Ceiling, and it is titled From in the Air. Have you ever noticed that the air isn't normal air in airplanes? I mean, there's just something different about the air in the cabin. There's something different. It's got a smell to it. That's the only way I can describe it. A smell of all these people, maybe not going places, but getting away as fast as they can. Once, I was on a flight back from DC, and a flight attendant walked by, a stack of magazines in her hand, Time, Newsweek, Business Week, and I stopped her, and I asked her what magazine she had, and she replied, "Oh, these magazines are for men." This is a true story. I asked her again, "What magazines do you have?" I'd already read Time, so I took Newsweek. That was a short piece. This is the original shot that was from a show long ago with the Florida shot in it because it was traveling in the air. Oh, these magazines are for men. I swear somebody actually said that to me. Anyway, but that was not only in the most recent issue of Down the Dirt magazine right toward the end of the book, but it was also in Shattering the Glass Ceiling. Ta-da. But anywho, that is done for my round, and we've got time, and we're not even, we can go through another round of 3 with no problem at all. So I would hope that John F. McMullen would be ready to start with poetry. So if you're ready, I would love it if you would take it away.